Well, good morning, boat lovers. Back in the shed, bright and early this morning. Let's have a look at what we got done yesterday. Ooh, trying to manage the GoPro and a cup of coffee. Probably not the best idea, but here we go. Get up the top and show you how that ended up. Here we go. With all the birds going nuts in the background as usual. Alrighty, so that's how we ended up. Hopefully that's all dry now. I'll pull all these clamps and things off and get things tidied up. See if we can get some plywood on the top. I'm thinking that I might just put the louvers on the back here and leave a solid face on the sides so I can hang my life rings on there. It'd be a good spot for those. And as long as there's enough airflow for the little air cons, that'll be great. If there's not, I can put a couple of extra vents in those side panels as well. Definitely need that coffee this morning. So once this job's done, I'll be interfering the outside, getting everything cleaned up, organise all the trim and everything, and starting the fiberglass. And before I put the top on this, I have to do a bit of a tidy because this shed is a disaster. I'll just flick the camera around and give you a bird's eye view of my working mess. That gives you an idea of how much mess that I've created for myself. I can hardly even walk around the place. That's that side. And then if we come around the other side of the boat, it's not much better. I guess it's not a disaster. I've just got stuff everywhere that needs a good tidy up. While I'm here, I'll give you a look along the boat from down the back here. There we go. She's quite a long girl, isn't she? Look at that. Wow. Hello boat lovers, welcome aboard. I'm Steve and I'm single-handedly building Dragonfly. She's a 53 foot or 16.2 metre flat bottom wooden riverboat. She includes twin outboards, aft cabin, galley, a saloon, wheelhouse, separate head and shower, and a centerline queen double up front. She's specifically designed for the sheltered and inland waters of the River Murray here in South Australia. Join us each week to watch the mayhem and madness of one man and his rescue dog building a massive 53 foot flat bottom wooden riverboat. It's quite weird actually being at the stage where I'm working on top of the boat. I know this area's been finished for a while, but I haven't had much reason to be up the top. And yeah, it does feel like this project's coming together now that I can walk around all the side decks and walk and access the top of the boat. It does feel like I'm getting towards the tail end of this project. I know there's still tons to do, but it does feel like I'm making progress. Oh. I remember I bought this extra long clamp for a specific purpose. I can't remember what it was, and I rarely use it, but just on the odd occasion, it's so good to have this extra long clamp just for jobs like this. Really comes in handy. I've done all my preparation, got everything sanded back nicely, got all my panels pre-drilled and all the screws in place. Glue time. Get these tops glued in. I'll be screwing them in right along this edge first, and then we bend them down. It's not a big curve, but we'll try and get as accurate as we can. And then I'll be clamping along the outside edge. I'm doing that because I might round that off a little bit later or run the planer along there, and I certainly don't want to hit any screws doing that. I actually had to go to the store and buy one more sheet of plywood just to do this. I've got scraps everywhere, but nothing quite big enough. And I didn't want to do them in small pieces, so I went and bought another sheet. It's a stunning day today, I have to say. Absolutely gorgeous. There's the weather report. I might have forgotten the weather report this morning. All right, get all this glue pushed into the corner and just use the little knife to cut the corner, but I forgot my spatula as usual, so I'll be back. Alrighty, got my spatula, got my little filleting stick and little paper cups just to wipe the glue into. So now we are good to go. All right, start with this one. And we're off. Get a nice bead along there first, and then I'll spread it out a little bit. stay down, down. Alrighty folks, that is done. Not quite as neat as I'd like, but that all gets faired and cleaned up later anyway. Everything gets sanded back, edges put on, fiberglassing, etc. But yeah, crazy that I ran out of plywood. Had to buy one more sheet to finish the boat, but there we go. I'll just take you in a bit closer and show you the end result of that. There we go. So my thoughts are a nice louvered panel on here for airflow for the air cons, and on the outside a solid panel here that can take my life rings, my orange throw life rings. That should function quite well. Alrighty, I'm gonna have some lunch. I'll see you after that. Good morning boat lovers. I'm going to continue this morning with those side panels up on the wheelhouse. That's what we got up to, putting those louvers in. All looks fantastic. I can't believe that those second-hand louvers that I found ended up being almost exactly the right width. Of course, I had to cut them down height-wise and modify the top and the bottom rails a little bit. That's exactly what I wanted. So that will let the air in for the air cons. As I explained before, we're going to have this flap lifting up here, this panel, with the air cons behind it. So I have to be honest, I don't feel like being in the boat shed today. Not for any reason in particular. It's just a beautiful sunny day outside and I'd rather be out there doing things. But I'm super keen to get to the stage where I can get this external fiberglassing done before the weather turns really cold consistently, because fiberglassing is much easier in the warmer weather because, of course, the resin is runnier and penetrates the wood better and all that sort of stuff. So once I've got these side panels on, I think from there I'm starting to fair the outside, clean everything up, ready for glassing. So pretty keen to get this happening, and I'm sure I'll get my mojo back once I get into it today. So as I say, that's the first job. Measure up, get myself a support piece across here, and then make a panel up for here. I also have to make sure that when the panel opens out, it's not going to foul against this handrail. So I've got a bit of measuring and stuff to do there, but I'll probably see you guys when I'm at the workbench cutting out some pieces of ply to go on there. All right, I'll get to it and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, boat lovers, I'm back. I didn't get to film putting this framework in for these panels because I was pretty much just drowning in epoxy, and it was just very messy. But I've got the top and bottom frames in place now. So I'll show you those and then I'm going to knock off for the day, and tomorrow I'll make the panels. Here we go. So there we've got a nice solid top support, which is where the hinges will go for the panel. And the reason I've got a bottom panel as well is so as when this panel opens out, it's not going to hit the handrail. I'll drill a couple of holes along the bottom of this later to make sure there's drainage in case any water gets in there. And of course, I'll show you the other side as well. Here we go. Alrighty, so the other side's done as well. Top, bottom. Yes, I know I chose a piece with a knot in it. I tried to get timber that didn't have any knots. I cut everything out and that was my last piece. It's not structural and it gets coated in epoxy and painted anyway. So there we go, that's it for today folks. I'm going to see you guys bright and early in the morning when this is dry, and I'll be working on making up these two panels. What I'm using is some 12mm ply. I might use 6mm, not sure, I've got both. And some nice framework on the backing of it to keep that panel nice and stiff. And we'll get that all ready to put in place and go from there. All right, folks, catch you in the morning. Good morning, boat lovers. Back in the boat shed. All right, this morning we are working on those panels in front of the little air cons. I'm going to measure up, use my little bevel because they're not going to be perfectly square. They'll be close, but being a boat, nothing's really square. So I'll just a little bit of sanding to tidy up what I did yesterday, and then we'll get into making these two panels, which eventually, of course, as I say, are going to be on hinges so they can open out so I can access the little air cons behind them. Alrighty, let's get into that. Alright boat lovers, that is definitely it from me for this week. I don't know how we've done it, but we're almost up to 5,000 subscribers, which is fantastic. So thank you for that. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I will see you guys back in the boat shed next Friday, or at least you'll see me. Until then, please boat safely, take care, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye for now.